The legend of the Wolf King's forest. Set in the dark heart of Europe. In the very center of Europe, where borders blur and ancient woods stretch beyond the maps, there is a forest no one dares name. Locals whisper of it only as the Hollow Green. For centuries, those who entered were never seen again, save for the bones that trees eventually coughed up. But 50 years ago, a boy entered willingly. He was only 12. Pale-eyed, ragged, marked by the cult that raised him, children of the Wolf King. The sect believed their god, a monstrous spirit wolf with eyes of burning silver, slumbered deep beneath the roots of that cursed forest. To awaken him, they offered sacrifices. But the boy wasn't meant to be a sacrifice. He was there a vessel, prepared since birth to become one with the king. They left him deep in the woods, chanting and weeping. And then they vanished, as cults do when madness burns out. For days the boy wandered, cold, hunted by whispering winds and eyes that glowed behind bark. The forest twisted, changed, played with his sanity. He starved. He hallucinated. But he did not kneel. He refused to die. Then one night, under a red moon, the trees parted and the Wolf King appeared. Towering, skeletal, eyes like suns behind clouds. A voice like thunder dragged through soil. "You do not beg." "Why?" The boy, broken and bleeding, answered. "Because I was born to be more than meat." The forest fell silent. The Wolf King laughed, a sound that made crows fall dead in the treetops. Instead of devouring the child, the king gave him a mark. A deep wound across his chest that pulsed like a second heart. "Then live. And howl louder than death." The boy stumbled out of the forest days later, different. Taller. Sharper. Half human, half wolf. His eyes silver. His voice wrong. Some say he wanders still. Others say he founded a new sect, one that doesn't worship the Wolf King, but prepares the world for his return. The Return of the Hollow Prince, Part 2 of the Wolf King legend. Years passed. Villages near the Hollow Green began to vanish. Not all at once, no, that would be merciful. First, livestock would be found torn open, arranged in perfect circles. Then trees would bleed sap that smelled like iron and ash. And then, always on the seventh night, silence. Houses still warm, food still steaming, but no people. The forest had started breathing again. A lone folklorist, Daria Volkov, heard the whispers. She came from Prague, obsessed with the legend of the boy who did not die. She thought it was myth. A warning. A metaphor. Until she entered the forest. She found a village, long abandoned, yet candles still burned. Symbols carved into trees, half wolf, half man. Blood runes she couldn't translate. Then he appeared. Not a boy anymore. He stood barefoot, tall, cloaked in fur and scars, eyes like twin moons. The mark on his chest pulsed with ancient power. He looked at her, not with hate, not with kindness, but with hunger for understanding. "You're not afraid," he said. "You came looking." Daria whispered, "Are you the Wolf King now?" He shook his head. "No. I am the Hollow Prince." His voice. His claw. His dream. He touched her forehead. For 3 days, Daria screamed in a Prague hospital, drawing maps of places that don't exist. And when she woke, she could no longer speak in any human tongue. Some say the Hollow Prince is building a pack. Not from wolves. From survivors. From believers. And when the Wolf King wakes in full, they will be ready to burn the world back into wildness. Part 3, The Rise of the Pack. They came at dusk. First as shadows. Then as shapes. Then as howls echoing from every direction, even from beneath the ground. In a forgotten town called Hrunvald, nestled near the Hollow Green, the last priest rang the bell for midnight mass. No one answered. Every door was open. Every home empty. Except the children. They stood in the streets, barefoot, eyes silver. Smiling. One of them stepped forward, a girl no older than 6. She opened her mouth, and the Wolf King's voice came out. The age of fire ends. The forest takes back what is owed. Behind her, the trees walked. Yes, walked. Roots tore through stone. Branches became limbs. Antlers of bark crowned their heads. The Hollow Prince walked among them, no longer alone. His pack was hundreds strong, some once human, others born of old soil and newer blood. Every one of them bore the mark, a wound that never healed, yet never bled. They didn't kill. They converted. One touch of the Hollow Prince's claw, and your memories folded inward. Your name dissolved. You remembered what it was like to run on 4 legs. To tear. To live by hunger, not law. The world watched Hrunvald vanish. Cameras went dark. Satellites failed. The forest expanded 10 kilometers overnight. The government sent drones. Only one returned. Its footage showed a clearing, vast and silent. At the center, the boy from the legend, kneeling before something huge, buried beneath roots and mist. The shape exhaled. A snout longer than a truck. A crown of bone. Eyes like moons in eclipse. The Wolf King had awoken. And all who dared to watch the video began to dream of trees. And teeth. And cold silver eyes. Some say the Hollow Prince is still walking. Others say he's gone, because the forest no longer needs a voice. It has roots in every city now. And it's listening. Part 4, Roots Beneath Skin. It's been years since Hrunvald disappeared from maps. But the forest hasn't stopped growing. It doesn't spread like fire. It sleeps beneath cities, waiting. People vanish in cities now. Not hundreds, just one at a time. A jogger never returns from the park. A subway tunnel collapses, revealing ancient roots. Dogs howl at nothing every full moon. And children begin to draw wolves with silver eyes. They say the Hollow Prince no longer needs to walk the woods. Because he lives in us now. In every voice that refuses to obey. In every dream where you're running, barefoot, through the dark and loving it. In every heartbeat that echoes not like a drum, but like a howl. There's a new generation rising. Not of followers. Not of victims. But of hybrids, caught between man and myth. And when the moon turns red again, as it did the night the boy met the Wolf King, they'll answer the call. Not to destroy the world, but to reclaim it. And somewhere, deep below bark and bone, the king watches. And he waits. Part 5, The First Howl. It started in Vienna. A boy, 12 years old, just like the first vessel, woke in the middle of the night covered in mud. His parents said he had been sleepwalking. But he remembered where he went. I followed the roots under the floorboards. He began drawing trees with teeth. Writing in symbols no one taught him. Speaking of a crowned beast beneath the world. Doctors said it was trauma. They tried medication. He chewed through leather restraints and howled when sedated. Then others started acting the same. In Warsaw. In Cluj. In Sarajevo. Children waking up with scratches that formed perfect rune marks on their skin. Teenagers going missing for days, returning with silver eyes and voices full of echo. And then, the audio tapes. At 3:03 a.m., across dozens of cities, radios and smart speakers began playing a low growl, not random. Not static. Analysts converted it into a waveform. It was a map. To a place that shouldn't exist, the true heart of the Hollow Green. Now governments deny everything. Churches burn old texts. And a private group, calling themselves the Order of the Antler, begins hunting the marked. But it's too late. Because one of them finally stepped in front of a live camera. She was maybe 16. Her eyes silver. Her mouth smiling. And she spoke 3 words before the signal cut. The howling begins. And from that day forward, no forest was truly silent again. Part 6, The Forest Beneath the Skin. There was a girl named Mila. 15. Quiet. Born in Brno, but raised in steel and smoke, a child of cities. She had never seen a real forest in her life. But one morning, she woke with dirt under her nails and leaves in her bed. Not fallen leaves. Fresh ones. Wet. Still alive. Her mother screamed when she saw Mila's back, lines of bark-like texture crawling beneath her skin, following her spine. Like roots. Mila didn't cry. She whispered. "He is growing inside me." Doctors found nothing. No infection. No parasites. But her voice deepened. Her sense of smell sharpened. And in her notebook, she wrote one sentence again and again. "I remember the first forest. I remember the dark before names." That week, 13 other teenagers across Europe went missing. All of them had similar symptoms. All of them heard the howl in their dreams, in the wind, in each other's thoughts. But Mila, she didn't run. She followed. She walked into an abandoned subway tunnel in Prague where the walls were warm and the air tasted like moss and copper. And there, underground, she found it. A living tree, impossibly large, pulsing like a heart. Branches like ribs. And wrapped around its trunk was the Hollow Prince himself, now more spirit than flesh. A ghost of will and power. He looked at her. No words. And she knelt. He placed one claw on her chest. Her eyes rolled back. She screamed, but not in fear. In rebirth. When she emerged, 3 days later, her hair was darker. Her skin colder. Her voice carried weight. "The pack needs a new voice," she said. "The king sleeps again. I will wake the world." Mila became the first she-wolf prophet. And from her whispers, a new cult rose, not hidden like the old ones, but loud. Online. Viral. Global. They're not waiting for the forest anymore. They're planting it, root by root, mind by mind. The Wolf King no longer hunts. His children do. And they walk among us. Part 7, The Hollow World. They say Mila vanished after that night beneath Prague. But vanish is the wrong word. She spread. Her voice, once a whisper, began echoing in the minds of those most vulnerable, the lonely, the angry, the lost. Teenagers who felt hollow. Veterans who dreamed of trees instead of war. Orphans who stared too long at the moon. She didn't speak in words. She spoke in memories. Memories no one should have, of ancient forests, silver skies, blood-warmed roots, and a world before humans ever walked upright. A hollow world, buried beneath ours like a shadow under skin. Governments tried to contain it. deny it. They built walls around the hollow green. But walls crumble, especially when the trees inside begin to think. In Oslo, a subway collapsed, not from decay, but from growth. A wooden spine the size of a whale burst through the concrete. In Munich, a man threw himself into a river after carving a message into his chest. We were never alone. We were never first. In Bucharest, CCTV caught a group of children walking into a park after dark. Trees bent to let them through. None returned. Except one. A boy, eyes glowing faintly, skin slick with sap. He looked at the camera and smiled. And then he said, in Mila's voice, "We are not building a forest. We are remembering it." Now, forests are appearing where they shouldn't. People report trees growing in their apartments, in their dreams, in their bones. A scientist in Vienna cut open his palm, roots had replaced his veins. But here's the part no one dares say aloud. The hollow world is not coming. It's always been here. We're the intruders. Civilization was a temporary spell, a loud distraction over something ancient and patient and hungry. And now that spell is breaking. One last note. Last week, an encrypted file appeared online. No sender. No origin. Just one video. A satellite image. Normal terrain. Until you enhance the shadows. Shift the contrast. Invert the feed. Then it appears. A symbol the size of a city burned into the earth. Hidden by forest canopy. The Wolf King's mark. It's pulsing. Like it's breathing. Like it's waiting. The last frame of the video? Coordinates. A date. And a single sentence. He will wake when the roots touch the stars.